Hello and welcome to Season 4, Round 1 Silverstone Grand Prix here in the Radical Cup. Today, it's the first round of the TSRB Radical Cup, and practice is just finished. It was a full week of practice, and right now the last cars are rounding the last final corners to finish the final laps of practice. So right now it's overtime. And then we'll jump to a 50 minutes qualifying session. When that happens, we're not going to see any cars driving out on track. During those 15 minutes, I will show around the track and a bit of sponsors. Today, we won't have any custom car team sponsors on the track. As now as in the system we had as a way to pay for it. And no one has spent the money for it. This league has a special rule. Where you can only compete with a amount of money on your account. You have to sign up, pay your way into all accounts, into all the races. Fictional money, obviously, not real money. And today we're gonna have, it's supposed to be around 60 drivers, but because of the Euros final starting now, literally as I speak right now, some drivers will not have the time to join and to drive, so they will miss out round 1 of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Right now we are on board with Jackson Watson going around, and oh, that's someone going out. I believe that was Ivashkev. I believe I've completely butchered that name. Let me try that again. Ivashkevich. No liveries on that car. There was some issues. Some cars will have liveries. Oh, contact out of. Ooh. Stove? Not stove. I'm talking about out of cops. My brain just stopped for a second. I have the live timings on my left if anything happens to today's on-screen live timing, or some cars won't be shown. So I will have seen there on your screen on the top right. You will also see the live map with all the cars and also crash indicators. Sometimes we'll block the right side of the map, but obviously it's important to see if also for you guys if a crash happens. So if I miss contact, it will still be shown on the screen at the top right. It shows how much damage the car has, what speeds the collision was, with what the collision was, and the name of the driver, obviously. Qualifying is about to start in a minute. 15 minutes, and during that time, during the 15 minutes, I will fly around the track with the drone and show you just the corners and probably also where the cars are having the most issues. So today we have drivers from all over the world and from different skill levels to professional esports drivers to starters. So we're gonna have a grid formers from start to finish, on track everywhere. Hopefully also some great on track battles and maybe even some lapping. So with today's race, two 20-minute races with 5 minutes of warm-up laps behind the safety car. It's going to be a safety car start. Qualifying has started. I have to wait some cars to cross the line. When that happens, here's just what happens in the pit lane. Let me take my drone camera out so I can show you. Here we go. That messed up. Alright, let's go and see the track during qualifying. I see a lot of drivers out on track. I apologize for the raid on the top right. I cannot turn that off as it's mandatory for all the drivers to have. You see all the drivers rounding out a few of our corners here. That's turn 4 I'm looking at right now. Arena section, turn 3, 4 and 5. I believe one of the most difficult corners when you're going fighting, and oh, there's someone spun between turn 3 and 4. As now we see, look at how many cars are out on track. It's going to be carnage everywhere. It's going to be a lot of fighting. And this is going to be an extraordinary race today. around the famous Silverstone track in Britain. Some information. I'll be there live in 3 weeks. Some talk to the stream. Some cars already having issues on their out lap, as everyone wants to get the lap done as soon as possible. Some information about the track as I'm looking in right now. Silverstone was back in the days, in the 60s, a airport, a fly zone, not really an airport, but a military landing strip, airstrip. As we see, still a bit of history on the track. There's also an inside track, therefore you can drive in real life there. For £200 you can drive an open wheeler F4 around there. A few drivers are rounding out the final corners. Before that, I will show you just the first sector as seen on screen. Turn 1 is flat in these cars. Turn 2 as well, and then it's a hard braking point into turn 3. This is a really difficult corner. It's a left hand, and oh, careful, it's coming out of the pit lane as well. It is on the outside, but the racing lane will intertwine with the cars coming out of the pit lane, so that's going to be a difficult thing. Turn 4, we see a few cars already having oversteer issues. And then turn 5, turn 4 and 5. Basically, with the slingshot effect, you want as big of a slingshot as you can out of turn 4. So you have a full-on straight towards Brooklands, as I show now. This is Brooklands. You can see on the buildings as well, showing us what corner that is. Difficult section, this is 6, 7 and 8. Brooklands, Luffield. 1 left-hander into a flowing right-hander. Some drivers are going to go wider than usual. Some drivers are going to take a really inside line to get as much as max as possible. Obviously, understeer with the tire where it can be something there. We see a car going slightly more wide through turn 7 and then through turn 8. Flat round here. And then there's a difficult corner. Cops. We see cars going here nearly flat. Real fast. Taking as much slingshot as possible. A bit of lifting. Maybe just a tad of brakes. And then it's a flat spot till Maggots and Beckett's. I've heard from the drivers to just brake for go flat for the first one, trail brake for the second, and then keep the car rolling until Chappelle to go then for another flat straight towards Stowe. Stowe is, I believe, the most difficult corner here on this track. It's just a little bit wide. Will give you a penalty or a warning. You want to have a lot of these. As then we see a car go wide there. Not something you want. And then into the final sector of turn 16, 17 and 18 of Vale and Club. This is a left-hander, sharp left-hander into a more flowing right-hander. Careful here to not go wide. And then to complete the lap, turn 18, flat through there. But my cars are still not updated on the tower, so I will wait for that to happen. Let me see if there's an issue overall. Update as it's not good. Let me see if some technical issues here. The tower is not loading. Let me try to do that. Alright, so we gotta have to go. Yeah, we have to sadly restart the server. The tower is not updating. I apologize for that. Will not take long, I promise for that. While that happens, obviously, luckily the on-track map will work, and I will keep you updated on the timings right now. Feritz Arsan is right now on pole position with a 201.6, and in second, difficult name, I'll try to not butcher that one, Svangrilinski with a 202.3. Obviously, it's just the start of qualifying, so we will still have quite a bit of time to improve there. About 9 more minutes of qualifying. That's, I believe, with these cars, about 4-5 more laps, depending on where on track you are right now. So, back on track, here we go. Let's see if the tower works this time. Loading. It's loading. Oh man, that's not good to see. That's not good. Having issues with the tower. That's not very well. Let's see if we can take it. So we can update it through here. We have the first safety car join in front. It's not quite working yet. Let me see if I... Oh man, this is not great. Ah yeah, man, this is not good. This is not good. Let me update the tower real quick to a different one that I know will work. This one works. The server hasn't updated yet. I apologize for that. There's some issues I'm having here with the car. Here's obviously my TV car. Beautiful. Having issues with tower. We try to rejoin again. Usually weird issues I'm having here. I apologize for that. To be honest, it's the first time I'm having these issues. Luckily it's still in qualifying. Times haven't really changed. We have a new pole sitter, 2015 by Cezary Swatzgolinski. Alexander drops down to P2. You have some crashes happening on track. 30 miles per hour crash between two cars. Matt Zolutsky and there's more happening on track. Hope we can get onto the action as soon as possible. Some cars are having some great times right now up in the Delta. A lot of these drivers. Pole position right now being a 201. There we go. The timing tower finally updated. So we have Swatzgolinski 2015 back. Aksan, two teammates, just 1/10 behind. Piccolo being just another 10th, nearly 2 tenths behind. Right now the time looks good. We have a bit of information at the top bottom right. But the speeds, they're now going through Maggots and Beckett's. We have a lot of different liveries out on track. Beautiful cars. Some cars even have underglow and some strategic design, I'm gonna say, if I find some of those. We see, I believe we have a lot of cars here. This is the first I'm talking about. Adam Crash. I can't pronounce that. I'm gonna go with Crash with the Haas purple chrome livery, custom tires as well with underglow. Beautiful car here. Some crashes happening. Hugo having some issues, touching the walls. With environment. Oh, going through that curb. It's gone back onto the pits. Overall, still going strong. We have Aksan going purple sector 2. Milan Ealing going purple sector 1. Yellow sector 2. Try to keep as much on track as possible. Sector 2 purple by Aksan. Is going to cross the line soon. Through turn 16 now. Val and Clubs. 17 now across the final corner. Purple sector 2, green sector 1, now across the line goes. Pole position 2010 by half a second, beats Swatzgolinski. Not really off the tongue, but I tried to keep it as clean as possible. Ealing P4 with his lap, goes back to the pit lane. Green by Lorenzo Cantone, down in P13, let's see his lap. 141 right now, speed trap, 337 comes on out. For you Americans, it's 229 miles an hour. It also says it comes out. I believe that's sector 1 and 2. There's Americans as well, 150 miles an hour. Now through the final corner, that's green sector 2. Will now go across the line, up to, stays in P13, has had a bad sector 3, lost about 2 seconds. And across the board, we have Aksan again improving in sector 1. Sector 2 is now here after Woodcote, turn 8, there, across sector 2 now goes. Still green on his sector time. It's about 2 tenths up. And there we have the line it should be here around Maggots and Beckett. Still hasn't updated for me. Maggots and Beckett is probably also one of the difficult parts of the track here. Flowing, but switches are everywhere. Goes on the grass and gets his lap invalidated. And goes back to the pit lane. Thomas Piccolo, green sector 2. And crossing line, does not improve. Still half a second to P1 and 2. 33 cars out on track. I can probably make the size here a little bigger. We have now 34 cars out on track. Increase this a little. Easier to see. And now we have easier to see. Now it's too much. That's 35 cars. We still have more to come. It's expected to be about 50 cars. Because of the Euro Cup right now, the finals, England versus Spain. We might not have the full grid today. But still, 35 cars going around the track. Still a big thing as... Oh, Norris! Alex Norris goes a bit wide through turn 1. Teleports back to pit lane. There's a 202.1. Improves on his lap. Milan Ealing is now starting his lap. Completed this one. He's 7/10 down on the laps and now goes through turn 1 and 2 flat. Look at the accelerator. Now hard on the brakes through turn 3. Try not to lock. Locks the right front tires. Not too much of an issue. And oh, loses the rear. Keeps it safe. Now through. Oh, in the front there's someone else spinning. That's not something you want to see as going for a hot lap. 2 minutes remaining in the session until the 20-minute races start. Vakuinov goes second fastest with a 2:01.5. Incredible work, and there's a big crash. Big crash in front. That's Nikola Juresniv. Man, we have so many names here. I believe those. He's gone back to the pit lane. Those big crashes can happen. I need to resize the. Matteo Murgia goes fastest PB 2:06.7. Sickerton goes also PB 2:05.3. Puts him into 28th. Big race today, a lot of drivers. And oh, someone's off turn 1. I hope I can get as much access as possible on the track here. This driver, Eldad Zelkanovic, had a little bit of contact with a wall. Martin PB's 2:04.1 puts himself up into 21st. And all the drivers now are not improving too much. 16th, McIntyre just crossed the line, doesn't improve. Alban Kuchen also improving his lap. It says outlap here. Qualifying is about to be over. 30 seconds. Vanquinov goes pole position. I've missed that. We're about 1,000 of a second. 8 thousandths of a second goes up to pole. Svagulins loses his pole position. And Piccolo goes third fastest. 2/10 slower than pole time. Ealing 2/10 as well. It's such a close grid today. The top 4 just separated by 2/10. Top 5 separated by 5/10. As Vanquinov improves again. 2:01.3. Puts himself now at 1/10 ahead. And that's the end of qualifying. Everyone who has completed the lap is now going to be over. So now everyone who's still out on track and completed the lap has to do it now or never. Maybe we will see that the timing so switch here. Pole position right now is being 2:01.3. Can we maybe see an improvement there still? Vanquinov is still out on track, still pushing it here. P2 as well, he's improving. As for me it says Frederic Achsen is in pole position. It's not being shown here. Let me see if I can find it. There's been some issues. Achsen is on pole position. It's not showing. Must have left the server as he's not in. He's left. He's not driving. So now pole position is still very kind of on track. And oh, in the back, someone has spun right through Beckett. Improvement by Svagulins. Green sector 1, green sector 2, but also Vainquinov is also improving on his lap, so we might see these two battling for pole position. Milan Ealing has yellow sector 1, but green sector 2. First one to cross the line between the three here. Let's see what he does. He has green on his delta right now. He is 2 tenths up, it says, but let's see across the line what he does. Goes up into P3 with 2:01.5 and is about 2 tenths slower than pole. Puts himself in the top 3, but it's still not over. As Piccolo goes pole, 2:01.1, and Svagulinins, even with his improvement, does not get pole position. And Piccolo, Arslan has joined back and goes back up there with this pole position of 2:01.0, but Piccolo 2:01.1 and goes up into P2. We still have a few cars out on track. Bobby Vainquinov improves, goes into P3. Puts Svangulins into P4 and Milan pushed down into P5. He was in P3 for just a few seconds, but it was just not enough. And the grid is shaping up. We're gonna have a few cars now. Morris improves 0.37. It's still a bit tiny, but I hope it's possible to see. 40 cars on track. And wow, that was a qualifying session between the final seconds, still being improvement made. Cars are still driving around the track. And this is it for the qualifying session. Everyone is about had completed their lap. Some cars are still driving back to the pit lane or just stopped on track. And this is going to be it. Arslan, pole position, Piccolo P2, Vainquinov P3. Svagulins P4, Milan Ealing P5, Warlet P6, Zelkanovic P7, Norris P8, Kaiser P9, and Lucas Smith completing a grid for the top 10. The race is going to start soon. The first one will have safety car start, double row. For the first 5 minutes it will be behind the safety car. And then the action will begin. Round Silverstone. Final setup changes are being made by the drivers. It's the car racing on track. Setups are going to be important. Tire choice, fuel choice. No mandatory pit stops, but obviously if you want to go aggressive, you can always do that. We still have Victor Mojito out on track. I believe he's the final one who is doing his final lap. He has 6 tenths up on his time. Goes green sector 2. I believe when he completes this lap, qualifying will be over. Now going through Stowe, braking around the 50-meter board. These cars are very agile, can brake late, can turn in fast. Goes a bit wide, probably invalidates his lap, but he's still going. Looking at the lap times, lost him about 2 tenths there. Goes on through the final couple corners, through turn 17. And now turn 18, flat round here. The line is about the halfway point of the straight and across the line. And he improves. Goes top 9. Goes 9th and does a 2:02.3. And with that, in the final overtime moments of qualifying, pushes out, I believe, is Lucas Smith. So now the top 10 have slightly changed. Behind Alex Norris is now Victor Mojito. And that should be qualifying over, but it's still going around overtime. There we go. Qualifying is now over. So it's about 1 minute wait time for the drivers to choose their strategies and choose their tires accordingly. Soft tires right now for everyone on track. We're gonna see what the fuel choice is as well. We have some fish spans by Alex Gizzo. Starting Alex Gizzo is starting down in. It's a bit difficult to see as so many drivers are gonna be really clumped together. Alex Gizzo starting 31st in the grid. There he is in the top, and it's gonna be a close fight for everyone. Qualifying, the top 5 are only separated by 5 tenths, and from then it slightly drops. P6 8 tenths, and then P7 1 second. It's obviously everyone has their own practice on this server. anyone can go. Anyone can. There's about 100 laps. Is the time where you're competitive. Good luck, as you're dropping 10 seconds before the race starts. And it looks Fedis Achsen is the fastest right now on track. The 81 car, followed by the 64 of Thomas Piccolo. Then Bobby Vankuinov. It's P3. It's this great qualifying session. Now everyone is out on track. As my car is in the middle, I have to get rid of that as soon as possible. Obviously, that's why the warm-up lap exists. I hope the AC tower updates now. If not, we're gonna have some issues. Obviously, it only updates once everyone crosses the line. You see in the back, the cars are starting not quite straight. The section with the lights will be the one who's gonna lead the track. 20 seconds until the warm-up laps start. When that happens, it's gonna be all off. Lights are now off. Let me see if we can teleport back to the pit lane as soon as possible. There we go. Back in the pit lane we go. And now we're gonna wait till people cross the line to switch. There's some issues right now. Cars don't know where they should be. This has been switched up, the grid here. So now all the cars are going around the first corner. Gonna have to turn on free camera just to follow them for now. We go now across. Now they're joining turn 4. There we go. Now we can go back. Let's follow the cars closely. Here we have Achsan, poleman. Livery looks very clean. And oh, that's Hugo, I think, spinning. Hugo just spun it in the opening lap. He has to find his position soon. In the back we see some more cars lining up. I apologize for a bit of for the frame rate as all the cars are close. It will fix itself soon enough. We have the cars lining up behind the safety car man 2. The Porsche with the Radical Cup logo on it. You hopefully will not see this car very often this race, but it might come out if there's a big incident that cannot be cleared up soon enough. Cars in the back are lining up. Here we have a beautiful view of what it looks like, what the rear view mirror of the safety car is like. I hope the safety car man in there is not panicking. It's going to be one lap. When the safety car goes in, the lights will be turned off and everyone is going to have the green light to go. It's an 80 kilometers an hour speed limit. Here we see the safety car full on the throttle, but turn on the pit limiter. Achsan, poleman. Colin Elise is not P2, so I believe they have to fix that soon. Unless I have forgotten. In the back, McIntyre P4. P3 and Harrison P4. Yes. Whoa, what's happening in the back? There's a big crash. What has happened there? That's Lucas Smith being into a collision. And a lot of cars, even the safety car in here has been collected. And this is bad. The drivers have to line up soon. Now the first safety car has gone in the front, but it's on the grass. Safety car man 2 still leading the group here. Red flag. There's a red flag in the session. There's some issues. The drivers are having issues. And oh, what's happened there? Tetzokman is just straight up going into the safety car. And this is it. They're going to have to restart the session here. Everyone is now doing whatever they're wanting to do. What is happening here? Big stuff happening in Maggots and Beckett. With all the confusion happening. Second man back is back up in front. In the chat, there's being some words said around, which would not repeat being the streamer here, being the main voice of this race here. Oh, big incident in the back. That's Kaiser being collected by Olet. Luckily, that's going to be a restart, so all this was happening. So now it's going to be some issues. Once Safety Man is still running around, still drives across the line. And Safety Man completes the first lap of the race, leading our group here and goes round. He's pushing his car to the absolute limit. So let's see an onboard lap here with our safety car, the Porsche Cayman. As he now stops in turn 3. So issues here. I'm gonna wait till I get some more information about what's happening on stream on the race, as this is not supposed to be like this. Organizers are being blamed for something. I believe it's not really their mistake. I think this is exactly just some inside mistake. As now everyone stops. Harrison is now stopped. Head off is stopped. Kenat and Svia. There's going to still on here in turn 2. People are now saying to push back the race, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And I keep my eyes on the information here. I will probably not join the voice channel where the rest of the drivers is, because I think we're gonna have some voices, some speech that should not be in a stream. I think we have some more drivers now out on track as well. Let me vote yes. I believe there is some issues. So let me configure that to be a little. Oops. And we have now 43 cars on track. I'm so sorry if it's so small. I really apologize. It should still be possible. Let me check also the stream on my phone to see if it's visible or recognizable. And my phone is having issues. There we go. No clue where this event is being streamed. I am streaming it, but I'm not seeing where. Well, that's slightly problematic. Some people have not voted yes, so let's try that again. I'm so sorry for the issues that we're having in this event so far. Obviously, not really quite planned here. We're back on the track here. Beautiful car. Safety car here. Looks like the driver names are readable, so I'm gonna keep it like that. So, to everyone being in the stream, I'm gonna say hello. I just chat once, but I'm gonna drop it away as I do not want to be drivers to hold position. Now, information told by the stewards, drivers to hold position. Important, as I believe that's the issue that happened beforehand. So wait until the lights go off for me to go away as well, because I'm in the middle of the pack, which not really good, saying like that. There we go. So we got here. So safety car now we see in the back starts to drive. Let's get the free camera activated up in here and join the action which is happening here. Safety car 1 and 2 and now safety car 2 is on the side of the road. Now everyone's joining, everyone is driving. Going through turn 1, everyone in the back as well. There's still some cars. Oh, there's a spin in the back. There's a spin in the back, and there's a lot of damage for said car. I believe that's Hassan Ali having hit the wall there. Now he has to stay in the position he is, as people have been told to hold their position. I believe when you spin it round, that's going to be a issue, a problem on your hand. And now let's wait till it fixes up here. There we go. Now we have back the leaderboard. Safety car 1 and 2 are the only one being shown. It's a bit of an issue here. Still only being safety car 1 and 2. Let me see on the stream. There we go. Alright, so everyone's being shown again. Let me switch to. Right, so Hugo is leading our group here now. Let's go with onboard camera. So Hugo's gonna be. It's a reverse grid, I believe. So Piccolo, Axen, and Axen are standing in the back. I think that's how it's supposed to be now. So a reverse grid. People now still having issues in the back. There's contact everywhere. It's a mayhem right now on this opening lap. So there's a lot of drivers who will have minimum amount of damage. It's not really optimal for all our drivers, but I think now the issues have been resolved. So once the safety car goes into the pit lane, that's when a race will start. Our leading car here really has to look out in his mirrors, as turn 3 will be the first actual overtaking opportunity for everyone in the back. Elise warming up his tires. Martin in the back just waiting for an opportunity, just looking where can he go. And in the back it's still chipping up. Safety car man 2 is leading a group from P20 just in case in the back something happens. And it's just incredible to see so many drivers out on track. It's going to be an extraordinary race. I can't wait. I hope you guys, the viewers, can't wait to see it unfold. There's still some overtakes happening, going side by side. Rusty's car. Turn right to go left. Set by famous Doug Hudson. Let's hope that he doesn't have to use those tactics in today's race, as that's a power sliding. And power sliding is not really the fastest way to go around the corner. Still some position changes happening. Krech is one car that I'll probably look out for just because of the livery. Really special livery here. We're approaching the final sector, the hangar straight. We are on it now from the safety car's perspective. So now eyes are all in the back. Everyone's tires are gonna be up to temperature. Everyone's swerving to get the tires warmed up. Some drivers are probably already up to temperature, depending on how they did the laps before. And it's about to be go time. Going around the round stone now. This is the braking point, around the 100-meter braking point. Now, red light, meaning safety car goes in this lap. Green light, so jump start for McIntyre, for Deccan McIntyre. We have two of them. We have the brothers in here, I believe. Brothers, or we have the families in here. Safety car will go into the pit lane. He swerves off now, so let's jump in on the action. Green light. Car's already speeding up. Going around the final corners, no overtaking until the line starts. Elise already trying to look for an opportunity. Trying to get the best shot out. In the back, there's also some fighting. I'm going to stay here in the front. And there's Hugo having issues. Hugo spun and now Elise is our leader off the start and in the back. We see Morris. We see Smith, Luca and Shochin going 3 wide into turn 1. And careful, boys. Don't go too close. There's going to be contact and slight contact. Kucha slides touch to Lutzkin. And now into turn 3, the first braking point off the track. And oh, there was these cars sending it down the inside, going up into P6. Elise getting the best start here. And in the back, there's a car going off. And I can't really see who that is. There's too much going on with the name-wise. Nitaklos defending the inside line. In the front, there's also four-way battle here. Milan Ealing in the OC Racing car against Kaiser and Hugo, who had the issue starting in first, having to drop off. In the back, there's a car trying to go for an open spot. 3 right into turn 6. Brooklands. Milan Ealing goes down the inside. Has the better line, but now have to check for the outside line. Round turn 7. Lafield stays in the back. There's a crash. McIntyre slows down, loses a few positions. And now Zolutskin goes up into P8, but McIntyre Cameron McIntyre goes for the outside line. That's Okmanis having issues, slowing down, probably penalty wise. And Zolutkin goes up to P7. McIntyre goes wide. That gives John Mapp the position for P8. In the back, there's also some position changes now through the cops. There's a lot of cars going off left and right. That's all careful going through Megas and Becks. A few cars are going still 3 wide. All the position changes. There's also Alex Gitzo in the back, and there's a huge crash. Huge crash. It is between head of Zalalkins and Alex Gitzo in there. The cars have gone back on track. In the back, there's also some battles. Zarada right now is very close to Waxen for a lead. Where's our pole sitter? Here's Axon, our pole sitter, fighting his way up the positions. P35 right now. He's in the slipstream. Switching cameras here better. Going side by side, round the outside, onto the grass between him and believe that's Piccolo, side by side. Thomas Piccolo. Piccolo keeps the position. Axon has to stay back. In the back, Stickerton tried to have a move there around the inside, but now it's outside. Cantone sends it down the inside. And he gets the position done. Great take. And no, that's Piccolo sliding and losing his positions and nearly going completely off, but keeps it facing the right way. Has to go back. Jackson Watson gets a 10-second stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Up ahead, there's still some position switches. This is for the start of the race, and there's a lot going on. And they're still fighting. Vakulnov is trying his hardest here to keep it together. Let's change the tower here to intervals, so we see between the drivers how's far away. That's Mylan Ealing locking up his front left tire, going into turn 6. Brooklands and gets a position down for P9. In the front, there's less happening, but Mab tries to keep behind Mylan Ealing. In front of Ealing, that's Lutkin, who had a great race start, and got a lot of position. Mylan Ealing now goes in the slipstream, tries to run the outside off Cobbs. We have not seen an overtake move here yet. Oh, side by side, the drivers are clean about it, and Mylan Ealing managed to get the position. Very nicely done. And there's Casa on the back as well. So many bunched up now going into Megats and Beckett's. And that's Vakunov losing more positions. And that's Zolutskin losing his rears and sliding and into. That's Kaiser, who's been involved in that incident. No, I believe that's Melentek being involved in that collision between him and Zolutkin. Oh, not quite what you want to see. Fighting for position, then seeing the car ahead of you slide into you. I believe he's still a lot of damage. He's slowing down. He's now down to 324. That's a dangerous rejoin. Has to slow down Andres Vitrakos. And that makes him not being able to fight into Stowe. Up ahead we have Krech and Kuchen fighting for P4. Best of the rest outside of the podium position. And he gets a position done. Maya and Gonzalez also position switch between them out of turn 18. A lot of cars are still inside the slipstream battles. There's a crash happening in the back. That's Cantone and Alex Gitzo being involved. Gitzo loses a lot of position. Stickerton and Piccolo have also a bit of an incident. But Piccolo comes out in front. Arsan, pole leaders, now up into P23. Our P2 driver. Can't really see him yet. I believe he's not having great races so far either. Zelkanov, he's ahead of Arsan, but Piccolo P3 down into P25. In the front, Martin is catching a lead. 3 gap into Cobbs, following each other very closely. And that's Harrison as well, getting a good run out of Cobbs. And now side by side through Megats and Beckett into the first part, stays behind, breaks a little into the second part. Now Beckett stays behind, and now through Chappelle is the part where you need to get the best slingshot effect out. Martin looking behind, you can just see how the cars are going. Elise still a leader. Great start from him, 3 laps in. So far, not many mistakes happening from the top 3 drivers. Hugo as well is losing positions. Overtake by Mayer, great way down the inside into the start of Megs and Beckett. And Mayer is still going up places. There we have him now, the car number 110. in front as well. Okmanis and Ishvakevis losing out, but now goes Ivashkevic down the inside of Stowe. Who's gonna keep it up? That's Okmanis on McIntyre now, and gets P16 done. Great move, had all the grip in the world. There's some penalties being set. Keep it within the white lines has been set by the race director. Here we see the red message in the top bottom right. A lot of drivers are just losing it off the track. And in the back, head off. Lost the position to Zarate. And Martin is losing time to Elise. But now we're starting to have some lapped cars. That's Solutkin, who was up in P8. Now down in last place, P40. Mitrakos goes wide, and Solutkin has the greatest overtake. Has the greatest opportunity. Says thank you very much and goes past. Zarate and head off. Has a bit of a squirm, and Zarate goes into the pit lane. I believe too much damage on the car. Maya and Cantone also having a battle. Cantone goes overtakes Hugo, and Chuchen and Harrison are fighting. Harrison keeps a position to Kuchen. But in the back we have Morris having a bit of a spin out of Luffield and losing 2 positions. Maya Nealing now up into P7. Great catch-up race from him. Zarate has left the session. The DNF from the session, and Miss Via goes off the track out turn 3 and rejoins down into P32. Jacobs on head off, get the position done. Hugo loses the position to Meyer out of Luffield and gets the P21 done. Krech loses a few positions. I believe he spun it round. There he is, rejoins out in Chappelle. Has to probably slow down to not get a penalty. Morris gets a position for P8. Mylan Ealing now into P6. Great race from him. Keep his eyes on him. Elise has had a mistake. Our leader of the race is off in turn 15. Stowe, and that's also Morris. No, that's Lucas Smith off. And now our leader is Martin Harrison behind. 7th, 10th. Chuchen, P3, and Mylan Ealing. Great race, P4. 11 minutes left in this first race. Julian Doulet, top stop and go penalty, 10 seconds. He took the penalty and is now down in P35. Watson gets a position on Silkin for P36 in the front. There's still some happening. Krech goes up into P6. That's Kaiser having issues, losing positions, dropping down to P12. Morris has also lost a position, going down to P13, and that's issues. That's issues for Morris. Internet, it looks like. He's having a lot of issues and teleporting around, and he's dropping down, going back. Closest battle right now is Mab on Svaguling for P8, for P7, I'm sorry. Going down the straight towards Brooklands. We might not see a move here, but depending on what the lines are taken, Mab takes a more outside line. Elise loses position to Kaiser. Norris is ahead. I believe there was Norris. I'm sorry, there was a back marker, having to let them by. And Morris having someone's having issues here. Morris has gone up back into P11, and Lotus and Ishkavik are having a battle for P18. In the back, Piccolo is gone up into P21, overtaking Ahsan, and we see him right behind it. There are 2 fighting. Our P2 qualifier, can't find him right now. I believe he's lost out a little. I believe it was he's DNF'd. He's DNF'd. Our P2 driver has DNF'd. Tony Morris has been disqualified from the session. There's a car off, and that is Elise off. That was a leader just 5 minutes ago, has led the race and is dropping down position after position. I believe he's overheating the tires too much, overshooting, and is having issues now. Looking at the time right now, Zvargulins full on crack for P6. It's the closest so far. Round P turn 17, now turn 18. Good run from him. Is he going to have a look into turn 1? Not quite an opportunity, but depending on what light you can get. Round the outside, he tries, goes for the switchback. Krech goes wide and has to give the position back. And Svaglunis gets a great run out of turn 2 and gets a position. Krech loses out. In the back, Morris issues, drops down. And also McIntyre loses the position to Lotus into turn 1. Lotus goes for a little bit of defense, but McIntyre stays behind. Morris looks like to be down, but it's just a bit of issues with the timing. He is still up there in the battle. And in the front, the top two drivers are 2 tenths. I'm going to keep my eyes on here. I'm sorry if I'm going to miss out a few more battles. But this is a battle for the lead of the race. It's obviously being just a race one of the season. Not quite important to get a lot of points. Now, Jackson Waxon gets a penalty. 10 second and has taken it. The stop and go. Goes a bit wide, Harrison. Martin keeps the position. And now going into Meggetts and Beckett. Harrison stays ahead. Martin stays ahead. Harrison loses out 6 tenths. Chucha gains a bit more time. It's now 3 tenths. Has a great run through Beckett. And now through Chappelle. Goes a bit through on the grass. Uses a bit of acceleration. Harrison better run than Martin. And now Slipstream towards Stowe. Our top 3 drivers here are all working to get that race win. Martin gets a bit of... Oh no, Harrison loses the rear a little. Has to overcorrect and goes off. Chuchen gets P2. And Martin says thank you very much. And now has a bit more of a breathing gap between him and P2. And now Chuchen has his eyes out set for P1. Great race from him. Harrison lost out a little. And it's now 6 tenths behind. More further behind we have Gonzalez and McIntyre going side by side into Stowe. Gonzalez stays on the outside, more brave on the brakes, but it's going to have a bit of a better, worse line. Ockmans takes a great line through there, has to back out, unless or it would have hit Gonzalez. McIntyre slows down a bit more than the rest, having to stop more defensive line. Gonzalez now has to look ahead and behind as the car Ockman wants to take the position. McIntyre defends from the both of them into turn 1. What's Gonzalez going to do? Looks. McIntyre goes a bit wide, but it's not great line from Gonzalez, having lifted a little. And Ockman sends it down the inside into turn 3. Brave on the brakes. And he gets the position. But wait. Gonzalez is on a better line on the inside. They're still side by side through turn 4. And now turn 5. Flat round here. Side by side still. So going to be on the straight. Better line for Gonzalez, but he slid a little. So look at the straight line speed. 190, 200 now for both of them. And Ockman gets a position now done, but is Gonzalez going to take the revenge into Brooklands? Not quite, stays behind. Locks a little the inside left tire, the front left tire. Vakrinov goes goes closer to Eiling. Eiling having to avoid a back marker and loses a bit more time. The OC racing car. In the back, there's also happening, but I can't really. There's a car spun. A car has spun. I can't quite see who it is, but there was a back marker who has spun the car round. And now Krech has some issues as well. That is Juistevik having round in Meggetts and Beckett. He's stopped to not block. Mylan Ealing defending from Vakrinov. Round the outside, tries he. Who's brave on the brakes? Ealing goes for the defensive line. Great defense. Vakrinov tries for the switchback, but it's too hot on the rear and loses the rear a little. So stays behind again. And now round turn 18, 5 minutes left in the session. And the battle for P4 is still quite hot here. Into turn 1. Vakrinov goes for a bit of a sling. Goes wide, touches a bit of grass. Needs to be careful not to lose the car. Ealing, great defense. Takes all the opportunity of the dirty air. And Ealing locks the brakes into turn 3 and gives a bit more time to Vakrinov. Now turn 4. Who's gonna have the best line here? Ealing gets a great shot out there. Ockmanis loses the position to Gonzalez again. 4P13. Gonzalez goes a bit later on the turn-in, but that makes Osmanis take too much of the sausage curbs and jumps off. Has to rejoin back. Lotus might have a chance here now to get P14. Ockmanis has joined just ahead, but he's losing the race. Dirty tires from the grass. Smith and Krach battling out of turn 4 and 5. Now on the straight towards Brooklands. Who's going to have the best run? Defensive goes Smith. Very aggressive. And now round the outside tries Krach. Goes for the switchback. And loses the rear. Goes too hot. The dirty air is not really helping him. And Alex Smith takes a bit of a better line. Round turn 8. Turn 7, Lefield. And now towards turn 8 they go. And Alex Smith has just a better line. Harrison is close as ever to Martin for P2. Eyes on them now. In the back, Vakrinov and Ealing are still also very hot in the battle. But Now, Martin doesn't have as much of a slipstream as Harrison has. Is Harrison going to have a look now? Let's hop on board. Let's see in the back what Martin can see. This is what he's seeing. Martin goes a bit more defensive out in Stowe. And now towards Vale. What is Harrison going to do? He stays behind. Locks a little the wrist on the front of Martin, but Harrison stays and looks. Obviously these cars have a lot of dirty air, so following is not the best you can do. Let's hop in Milan and Vaquinos battle for P4 as well. Krech and Smith's battle as well. Oh, Smith goes for the inside line out of Stowe and gets a position out of Smith back, out of Krech back. And Smith, oh my god, and Krech sends it really deep and gets a position on. Catches Smith off guard. And great move. 3 minutes left for P11, for P10. Great move. But is he going to have to defend for turn 1? Takes more of an inside line, but we know that's going to have him a wider line. Alex Smith in the back now. Is he going to have a look down into turn 3? Break point now. Breaks a little later. It's a bit more brave. Krech defends the outside. And now has the inside line for turn 4. Is gonna Smith take the switchback? And he does! But it's too hot! Catches the car. And is gonna stay behind Krech. Back in the back. McIntyre is also starting to catch. Krech stays ahead. Now towards Brooklands. Krech goes towards the inside. Doesn't break the slipstream. But then goes back onto the racing line. And has such a good run that Smith doesn't have a chance. And now there's a 4-way battle for P10. For the final point, I believe this is. And now Smith has to look in the back as McIntyre has a great run around turn 7. And now towards turn 8. Is there going to be a look through Cops? Not quite. We already seen one overtake by Milan. Through there. Round the outside. Tries McIntyre. Towards Cops they go now. Breaks later. Is Smith and gets the position back. But now towards Meggett and Beckett's back. Gonzalez also is going to have a look. Krech has a time to run away. Now it's between McIntyre and Gonzalez. McIntyre and Gonzalez. That's Smith! As Krech has made a mistake and now Smith is right on the back now. Gets a great run through Chappelle. And now on the straight he is. Goes for the outside line as Krech defends the inside. McIntyre might make this 3-way. 3 wide through Stowe. No, he does not. But Krech on the inside. Smith on the outside. Who's going to have the better run through here? The grip on the outside looks to be better. Smith gets it but goes wide. Needs to keep it inside the white lines. Has to probably give the position back. Still on the inside he is now. Krech locks the brakes and goes off. And McIntyre now gets a position and Krech spins it. Takes too much of the AstroTurf and spins the car around. And now Gonzalez is going to have a good run on McIntyre as he got a bad run through turn 17. But gets a good run towards turn 1 and 2. In the front, Martin and Harrison are battling. Harrison got the position. I've missed that. Sorry for that. I apologize. Through turn 7 they go. Through left field. And now towards turn 8. I apologize for the coughing. Oh, I need to take my breath here. Wow, 30 seconds remaining in session. I believe there's one more lap after this one. I don't know if there's rules for white flag, if it's now or after. In the back, McIntyre spins it out turn 5 and loses a lot of position. Elise back up to P16 after having a bit of a bad race. Piccolo, P18. Ivashkevic, P17. And there's a penalty, I've just missed that. And Martin. Krech is now losing positions to Elise. Elise is having a backup battle here. Jacobs and Marp also battling. Marp has lost out a little bit of time to Jacobs. In the front, leaders on the final lap, so Chuchen. This is the final lap, so across the final sector. Eyes on him. Let's hop on board. And he's going across the final corners, turn 17. And turn 18. He can breath a sigh of relief. Akram Chuchen wins the first race of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Harrison P2, Martin P3, and Vaikuinov P4. Milan Ealing, great race from him. So, driver so far to have looked out for was Milan Ealing. Svagulins goes for P6. Alex Norris for P7. Kaiser for P8. Lucas Smith still in the final sector for P9, but there's still a battle here between Gonzalez and Lotus. Lotus slides, but Gonzalez loses it more, and Lotus gets the position in the final corner and goes up into P11 and gets P11 done. Krech in the back is having issues, but Elise Achsan is having issues with a back marker and he has collision, but keeps. Oh, and oh, Krech, big collision, but keeps it kind of facing the right way. And Piccolo gets a position on Krech for P17. Krech P19, sadly, was fighting for P10. And in the back, McIntyre spins it before the line and goes for P20. And I believe the driver who we saw the Lightning McQueen car, Zalutskin, sadly not a great race from him. He had a lot of incidents. He started at the front and dropped down to P31. This is still race 1 of 2. So we're gonna see maybe in the next race some more action. But this one, 50 minutes, packed with action. Overtakes left and right, crashes left and right. And even the stewards starting to be a little annoyed with how many track limits there have been this first race. Safety car's now out on track as well. to let the drivers know that the first race is over. Here is that safety car man won. And that was race number 1. Some drivers are already having issues and are annoyed with that race 1. And that was it for our first part of the race. There's going to be a little bit of a break till race 2 for the drivers to calm down, take a little bit of adrenaline off that they've just gotten from that race. Chuchen, our race winner, Harrison P2 and Martin P3. These 3 have given us a great battle in the final part of the race. There's been even an overtake from Harrison to Martin. And I gotta say, this first race has been the most chaotic I've seen in a while. And I can't wait to see race 2. I believe it's gonna be it's gonna be with switched position from first to last. So I forgot how it's called. I apologize for that. Reverse grid. That's what I'm thinking about. It's been now reverse grid. So now we have to wait for that. We're gonna have race interviews after the second race. Gonna have to wait for that. As we now see the drivers going back to the pit lane to finish this session. Now we're gonna have a little bit of a wait, a little bit of a break. The drivers can hydrate. I hope you, the viewer, also stay hydrated for this race. There's been a driver in the front who's flown. So a little bit of break for the drivers to re-get the thoughts together and maybe to strategize a little more. So now we're gonna see there's some strategies maybe changing. So who's gonna be more aggressive, who's gonna be more lenient on the tires. We've seen drivers going too hard on the tires. Usually it's been doing switchback moves. Obviously obviously the issue with switchback is you go off the dirty air, get as much grip as possible. Going into the dirty air, you have no air resistance and turbulence everywhere. So the mechanical grip, the aerodynamical grip part of the car is gonna have issues. And then obviously going again off the dirty air, it makes the car unsettle. And we've seen obviously during switchbacks where the rear of cars lose the most. Our drivers have given their best in the first race. I hope they give it their best in the second race. And now that they've experienced of how the different drivers go, they can check how they can check the way they take the lines between the different drivers. So 1 minute wait till the next race start. I myself, I'm gonna have a little bit of a voice break here, as I've noticed at the end of the first race that I've been starting to crack a little. Alright, so I'm gonna turn on some music during this wait, so you guys are not gonna be left in the emptiness. So 30 seconds remaining.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
We're closing in onto the second part of the race. The second race start is gonna happen soon. The lights are gonna go off now, and the safety car will gain back the lead to all of our cars here. Let me go to camera 3 here, to this camera. There we go. The safety car goes off to the right to gain back the cars behind, to gain back the lead. There we go. Now everyone else starts. Yes, I believe. There we go. I believe there's some. We have the DNF cars in the Milan Ealing. Where's Milan? How is Milan count? Milan has started way too early and is now gone off. Safety car man is not catched up yet. Let's hop on back to this camera. Up ahead is Milan. He has to go back and get everyone back, give everyone back the position. Hugo starts this time in the lead. Hassan Ali P2, McIntyre P3, and Meletic P4. Piccolo P5, but it's dropped down. He's giving back a few positions. And who is that going in front? That's Jackson Waxon. And he's been disqualified. Achsan, pole leader, starts P5. Gotta have to look how that's gonna go. Milan has put himself back into the grid. He's starting P14. And our leader, Hugo, has to defend from Ali and Meletic off the line. One driver he has to look out for the most is Achsan, our pole sitter. He is the fastest on the track, we know that so far. But is he the fastest in race conditions in the front? He had some issues fighting his way through the grid. Is he going to have some issues this time? Now he starts up ahead in P4. In P4 or 5, I'm not quite sure. It is P4 he's in, so he has to look out for. The other drivers behind as well. He has Piccolo as well, not far from him. P2 sitter. Svagulins, his teammate P3 sitter, is down in P23, so he is going to have a bit of a harder work to go fight through the grid, through the track, through the traffic. So safety car going around, approaching cops. This corner has shown us some great entertainment so far. Hope it can do it again for the next 20 minutes. I hope my headphones aren't turning off as I'm running out of battery, so let's just ignore that one. And so drivers we should look out for are Achsan, Piccolo, Milan. If I can find him, Milan. Alex Norris has some great battles as well. P3 sitter, Zvaglulins. And our race winner 1, Kuchen. And oh, there's a spin. There's a 2-cast round. That's Mikrakos and Murja. Round. And they're going to have to now be in the back. So now they're starting in the back and have to look out for. They have to wait the way back as well. Taking back the positions, I believe. I believe they're allowed to do that depending on what race directions thinks. The front, still not much happening. Hopefully they don't make mistakes as last time. So you see Malentic switching to first, everyone else is in second. This car is the loudest so far. So eyes on Achsan, leader, pole sitter. We know he has the best control of the car. It's gonna go green for the safety car soon. Once the safety car goes into the pit lane, the rest can join. Carlton Lotus, jump start, 20-second penalty. Down in P13. Once the safety car goes in, that's the green for everyone else to speed up, not for overtakes. Safety car's in. Hugo can start. Hugo goes. Ali follows. Maletic. Achsan already down the inside. No overtaking yet allowed, so he gives it back. Stays on his outside line. He's allowed to go back. Cut across. Hugo lost the position and Hugo goes off. That means everyone can overtake him. Ali gets the greatest jump ever. Starts in first. Achsan, greater run out of turn, last corner. Into turn 1. I'm keeping my eyes on there, but in the back we can see a few more cars going side by side. Is Achsan going to have to move? Into turn 3. He goes very late, deep into the inside. Turn 3, side by side. He's going to have the worst line, but he can take a switchback opportunity. Ali takes a bit more aggressive brakes, but stays on the outside. Achsan tries to switch back. Is now on the inside. Into turn 5. Has a better run towards Brooklands. Side by side still. Maletic tries it on McIntyre. 4P3. There's a car going off in the back. I believe that was Krech. Yes, it is. They're 3 wide now towards Brooklyn. Keeping my eyes here now. And Maletic gets a position done. But oh, lockups for 2 of the cars. 1 car's round. That's Morris. Morris has spun the car around, gone off the grass and lost the position. Piccolo goes up into P3. After Maletic and McIntyre had a bit of a squirm towards turn 7. And goes past Hugo. Worst start of them all. Started in first and dropped down to 7th. Morris, very bad start. Dropped down to P28. Milan is fighting against Meyers. Inside line for Meyer. And that's Ockman is off. Cops. Milan is on the outside. Gets back. Gets the position on Hugo. Hugo's having an issue. Hugo has contact with Meyer. And Meyer has to slow down. Hugo goes off the track. And Milan can calm down. Breathe off a little. Well, as the cars behind are having a bit of issues. Meyer's dropping more positions. Now it's going to be maybe a 4-way battle towards Stowe. As we see 3 wide. They're going to make it 4 wide. And who's going to be the bravest on the brakes? It's not good to go 4 wide. It looks like it's Lotus. And Lotus with the greatest line, but no, goes off. Giving Smith the better line. Towards turn 16, Vale. Down the inside goes Lotus. Nearly contact. Lock up for Meyer. Smith takes the inside line, goes defensive, keeps a position in the back. Elise has a bit of a slide. And so many cars bunch up at one spot. Meyer loses out a bit into turn 18. Elise tries it into turn 1 now, side by side. Who's going to have the better line? It looks like Elise, but Meyer still full throttle. Elise gets a position now in the back. McIntyre might have a chance. Swagulins, a P3 sitter. trying to fight his way up as well into the inside, into turn 3. Now turn 4 has the outside line, has to look ahead, and there's contact. Elise and Meyer make contact. Elise is round, and that's not a spot where you want to be stopped. Oh, in the middle of the track, is everyone gonna avoid? Oh my god, everyone has great avoiding skills. I'm shocked. That's impressive by everyone. Beautiful done. But now Lotus and Smith have now the chance as well. In the back, Swagunitz is now the leader of this big pack as well. 4P11. McIntyre tried to have a look on the outside into turn 7. That's Norris defending to Mojito. Mojito on the outside. They're gonna go side by side into Cops. Mojito's gonna have a look round the outside now. Who's gonna be braver? It looks like Mojito's the bravest, and his tries round the outside. On Cops, incredible. And now towards Maggots and Beckett. Inside line for Mojito, outside line for Smith. Oh no, for Norris, and Norris has the incident and goes on the grass and slides off. And that's him off the line. There's also someone else having issues. I believe that's Gonzalez. Gonzalez spun off as well. And that gives Martin and everyone behind the position. So Lutkin, the driver who had issues in the first race, fighting his way up now. He is side by side with Norris. Towards Cops, though they go. On the inside, Norris, best line he had. Brave on the brakes as well. And gets a position. Norris already has his eyes ahead as well for P17. T16 now. Down the inside. Very brave on the brakes. And oh my god, that's... What a move from Norris. And that's Svagulins going off. P3s that are having issues and everyone has to avoid running outside, and that's Norris and Divish covers. Going out of the outside. Schizo now. Getting closer, but Svagulins, I believe that's Kuchen and Ivashkev going side by side in turn 1, but Kuchen had the better line, or winning driver in the first race. There's been some issues. Krech had issues sliding out out of turn 3. Stickerton also issues. Svagulins lost the position to Schizo. He's gonna have to try to have a move here now towards Brooklands they go. Into the slipstream he goes. And now looks for the inside line. Who's gonna be the bravest on the brakes? Now towards Brooklands they go. And it's Svagulins way braver. He's had more car control as well. Schizo loses the position. Ivashkevic looks to have a look towards Koshin, but doesn't quite manage. Svagulins catches a little more. And this time the cars are a bit more spread out, but for P10, Mojito and Krech are fighting. Krech had a bit of issues in the last lap. And Mojito goes wide out of Cops, has to look out for a penalty. And that's a car, Lotus. Lotus is sliding off. He spun the car round. And this gives a position to Otmanis and Bakuinov. Krech now goes off, and that's Mojito. Fully losing the car and having to cut the entire track. And Norris and Lotus, Norris and Martin are now fighting three-way battle. 4P10, 4P12, I'm sorry, towards Stowe they go. Now it's four-way battle. As Lotus catched as well. Now they're catching to a head, and that's Mojito having to look careful for Norris, but 3 cars go wide. That's Mojito, Lotus and Norris gone off, and that's a car off. That's Lotus sliding away. Keeps the car off the barriers, but has to take the runoff to join back the track. Loses a lot of positions. Kuchan gets the positions to everyone. Mojito follows. And Lotus loses out the most there. And now towards turn 1. It's going to be a battle here for 12. Stays in the slipstream. Tries not to go too aggressive into turn 3. And that's very early on the brakes for Chuchen. Mojito stays behind, but locks up, nearly goes into the back. Olet disconnected, DNF from him. Gonzalez spins out of turn 2 and loses positions from P23, drops down to P28. Murja behind now is catching as well. Piccolo and Achsan, pole leader in P2, are now back to where they were in the qualifying session. There's also a battle here for P11 still, for P10 now it is. Meyer leads the group. Martin behind. Chuchen has a good run out of turn 7. Is gonna try it. Maybe has a look through Cops. He has a good run out of turn 8. He's on the inside. Martin is also having a good run, but he's getting boxed in, and Chuchen tries to double overtakes. Down the inside to Cobbs, pushes off Meyer a little. It's now a little bit of a head. Let's see. And that's Martin losing position to Meyer. Meyer had the bad run there. And Kuchen leads the two drivers. Martin does the inside. And now through Chappelle they go. Martin has the second one to lead this group. Norris and Morito might have a overtake over to Patouti here. Into Cops, they have a little into Stowe. Bit of contact. Well, Norris on the outside. Contact again. Norris goes a bit wide. Stays inside the line. No, goes off into the AstroTurf. Tries to not lose it. And Morito gets a position. Svagulins as well follows. Meyer defends the inside. Morito tries it. Svagulins tries it for a switchback, and Norris as well, now down the inside into turn 18, side by side, and Norris is back past, and he's going to have a look against Mojito into turn 1. Swagulins is kind of still there with front, gives out the position, stays behind now. In the back, that's McIntyre and Ivaskevich fighting. McIntyre gets opportunity overtake into turn 1 back. Ivashkevich into the inside, turn 3, gains the position. McIntyre didn't quite try to defend, and now Milan versus Miletic for the podium position. Milan was 1.5 seconds behind and now is right on the rear. So this is going to be maybe a look towards Cops. They go. Milan on the outside. Great run through turn 8. And now through Cops they go. Who's the bravest with the car? It looks like Miletic tries to too hard, slides the car. Milan keeps around the outside, still side by side. And Milan gets a position towards McIntyre and Beckett. They go. Milan stays ahead. Miletic looks everywhere for the clean air, but it doesn't quite manage. Through Chappelle they go now. And Milan gets a position for the podium. For the final podium position, and is ahead. And now has his eyes out ahead as well. 7 seconds to Piccolo. He is close. Piccolo's about a second to Achsan. He's slightly catching as well. There was also an overtake for P7. And Chuchen goes side by side with Krech towards Stowe. Chuchen on the inside. Krech on the outside. Who's the bravest with the brakes? It looks like it's Chuchen way later in the brakes. And he gets the position done. Krech stays behind, but he's going to maybe have a look towards Vale and Club. On the outside tries Krech. Defensive goes for Chuchen. Doesn't quite manage. But that's a bad line for Chuchen. And Krech goes for the switchback towards Club. And now turn 18, the final corner. And Krech is ahead. Martin as well. Tries it side by side. Into turn 1. Krech now has to watch out for the two drivers behind. Chuchen goes a little wider. Krech on the Martin on the inside. Doesn't get the position. And now Martin with a very late lunge into the inside. In the back, 3 cars lock up. Martin is on the outside. Chuchen on the inside. And now there's a lot of cars bunched up together. Chuchen goes off. Martin gets a position. Meyer now has to have a look, can have a look towards Brooklands. 5 cars following so closely. Norris behind as well. Svagulins and Morito. Morito tries it down the inside towards Brooklands. Locks up, contact. Pushes his way through. Norris as well. To maybe have a look. Now goes for the inside towards turn 7 to Meyer. Meyer's dropping down a little. Norris now side by side gets a position. Done. Ahead. Vakuinov and Ali fight. Ali lost the position. Norris is ahead of the slight group here. It's a 4-way battle. Morito maybe has a look down the inside towards Cops. Out of Cops now. Norris and Meyer go off. Morito doesn't quite get it. Svagulins gets a position up there. And there's a crash. There's a crash. Morito and Meyer off. Morito and Meyer are thrown off. And Krech ahead is now having issues as well. Losing a bit of the slingshot effect and loses 2 positions. Martin and Chuchen go past. Martin now leads the group. P9 for him, P10 for Chuchen, P11 for Krech. Krech tries it down the inside. Side by side through Stowe they go. Krech on the outside. Now for full veil. P6 turn 16 and he goes into the back of Martin. Chuchen on the curb, jumps away, and there's a two-way incident. Krech stays on the track, but that's not a clean move from him. That's not frowned upon by the drivers. And Chuchen loses the most positions. Svalunis gets the best one out there. Norris as well. Norris now leads the group. Krech tries around the outside but doesn't quite manage. Goes off. Svagulins gets a position on the outside now for turn 2 and now into turn 3 is ahead. Krech goes late on the brakes. Goes into the inside. Slight contact. Krech on the outside. Lotus on the inside for turn 4. Krech tries to sludge back. Not quite. Stays on the outside. Loses the rear a little. Victor Mojito gets a penalty. And Krech stays behind. Now towards Brooklands. I'd say Brooklands. Now Krech inside line for Brooklands. Very late on the brakes. Very aggressive. Loses the rear twice. Keeps the car. And Lotus might have a chance here to get the both of them. Now it's in the middle. Krech on the inside. Contact. Krech spins him round. Pit maneuver. That didn't look intentional. But it was Krech who still comes out ahead. Lotus uses a lot of position. Milan gets a position to Achsan. Achsan had issues. And now Milan in P2. I said it before. He's a driver to look out for. 6 minutes left in the session. And there's still a lot going on. In the back we see now fighting. Chucha leads this pack. Krech ahead. But Martin is very close to McIntyre. To Cameron McIntyre. The second McIntyre. Declan is down in P20. So don't confuse the two. Martin in the slipstream now towards Stowe on the hanger straight. That's Krech defending to Chuchen on the outside, Krech on the inside. Late on the brakes is Krech. A lot of incidents from him in the final past two laps. This time, oh no, that's Chuchen losing the car nearly on the AstroTurf, and now it's McIntyre catching as well. And Martin locks the rear, still he goes into the back of McIntyre. McIntyre loses the rear and slides off into the gravel trap. And Cantone gets a position as well. Lotus 2. And Martin is ahead. Now Martin has to look back to Lorenzo Cantone. He told me to say his name right, but I'm saying it in the English way. His name is Lorenzo Cantone. Now towards turn 1, Cantone has a way. Martin defends. Now towards turn 3, what's Cantone gonna do? He stays behind but looks for the inside a little. Has more aggressive on the brakes. Piccolo leading the race right now. Chuchen gets closer to Krech. And it's in the slipstream towards Brooklands. We know the slipstream in these cars is very strong, so even if he has not a move towards Cops, he might have a chance. Good line from Kuchen. Krech slightly loses the car. And now towards turn 7. Late on the brakes is Kuchen. Krech as well. Cantone is also very close to Martin again. And Krech stays ahead towards Cops. Gets a lot of the inside line, maybe even off the line. Svagulins ahead, catches to Norris. In the back, Harrison closest to Mayer for P18. Harrison might have a move into Cops. Goes for the inside line, side by side. Towards Cops they go. Who's braver? Harrison on the inside. It's not the braver Mayer, it's way braver. Goes way off. Harrison might have a chance to get the position. Now towards Maggots and Beckett. Harrison is ahead. Mayer may have a look later on. He's a bit smoother through Maggots and Beckett. Now through Chappelle. And that's off. That's Mayer going off Chappelle. Not quite getting the line. Cantone is getting slightly closer. Edging his way closer. And that's Krech goes into the pit lane. And Kuchen gets a position. And everyone behind might overtake as well. Elise and Morris have a bit of a squirm. Morris loses the position to Elise. And in the front, Smith and Miletic. There's a back marker crash. Miletic might have a chance against Smith for the best of the rest. P4. Towards Brooklands they go. The inside line for Smith. He goes very defensive. And now who's brave on the brakes towards turn 6? Late on the outside line for Miletic. Smith on the inside. Now it's switched. Now the roads up reversed. On the inside is Miletic. Smith on the outside. Miletic has the better line. and is maybe getting a better run. But Smith has a bit more run to go. Towards Cops they go, still side by side. A little ahead is Miletic. And Smith might have a look towards the outside line. Who is braver? Miletic is way braver. Is he gonna go off? And Smith goes off, but has such a good run. They're side by side towards Maggots and Beckett. Smith is ahead again. And now, very close, and there's contact between the two. Then they keep it. Vankunov now gets a position. 2. Miletic. Smith stays ahead of the 2. And now Bobby Vakunov has the best run. Towards Stowe they go on the hanger straight. On the outside, tries Miletic. Not quite. A bit of a gap. Who gets a better run through Stowe? It looks like Vakunov is a bit closer. He's edging his way closer. He's right on the rear end. He's practically mounting it. And now on the outside he tries it towards Vale. Stays behind now. And that's Miletic as well staying behind. And Smith loses a little bit the rear. Gets a worse run towards turn 18. And Miletic behind now. There's been an overtake. Ali and Ogmanis goes past. And this is now... Ali is having issues with his rear. He's having too much damage and can't focus on the rear tires. And there's contact with a backmark as well. Svagulins tries it. He has to thread the needle. Stays behind for turn 1. And there's netcode. Netcode and Ali is off. Norris now has a chance. And on the outside tries Norris. Good. Now onto the braking zone. The backmarker still there. Onto the inside goes both. Ali still losing places. Norris on the outside gets a good run through turn 4. Into turn 5 now. He has such a good slingshot effect. He's going side by side to the straight. And now towards turn 6. Brooklands on the inside is Norris. Svagulins on the outside. Who is brave on the brakes? This is a corner where you need to look out for the second part as well. On the inside, Norris tries it. Brave on the brakes, gets a position done. And is safe and goes for the inside for turn 7 as well and gets ahead. At the front, Smith and Vakunov are fighting. Vakunov on the inside gets a position. Smith stays behind. Towards Beckett and Beckett they go now. On the inside is Smith. Vakunov defends. And it looks like they are very close. Nearly contact between the two. No, Beckett still on the outside. Now stays behind Smith. Vakunov now has to go defensive towards Chappelle. Now under the hanger straight. On the outside goes Lucas Smith. It's a long straight. 2. Stowe, turn 15. Round the outside. Tries. Lucas Smith. And Vakunov defends the inside. Lucas Smith goes behind. And this is the final lap. Piccolo wins the race. I've missed that. Piccolo wins the race. Myla Kneeling gets second. OC Racing. Achsan. Sad to see. He started he got the first position but lost a few positions. Vakunov and Smith are still fighting. Vakunov looks like to get the upper hand and gets P4. And Smith stays behind and gets P5. Norris and there's a spin. Norris and Svagulins are still fighting. Norris might have to run on turn 18. Goes for the inside. It's going to be a drag race towards the line. And who's going to get it? It looks like Svagulins got it. Norris just a few tenths, a hundredth between them. And gets P7. Okmanis, Svagulins turn P8. And Norris position 9. Chuchen P10. Martin P11. Lorenzo Cantone P12. Lotus P13. Krech. Slight bad race from him, P14. McIntyre, defense from Harrison, P14. P15, Harrison, P16. Ali, P17. Mayer, P18. And Hivashkevich, P19. McIntyre, P20. Stickerton, P21. Jacobs, P22. Head of P23. Schizo goes to P24. And this is going to look like it's going to be a grid. Piccolo wins. Next to him is Myla Kneeling doing also donuts. And Achsan was back into the pit lane. What a race from each of our drivers. That was a spectacular race. More of a midfield battle this time. And the switchbacks and all the overtake up here was great. And now it's over off for the racing. Everyone can calm down, can take a breath. And everyone who got a win today can be happy. But everyone driving today, congratulations to them. Congratulations to every single one of our drivers. They have pushed the hardest they could. and they've had a spectacular race. And now it's the end of round 1 Silverstone for the TSRB Radical Cup. Thank you so much for watching. It's not over yet. We're gonna have interviews soon. Once I'm told, we're gonna have interviews. And before we go to the interviews, I'm gonna give my own opinion on this race. I gotta say, the race 1 was more, had more crashes and was a bit more spectacular, being the drivers' first time fighting together. I believe it was a 10 out of 10. It had everything you want in a race. The second race was also a 10 out of 10, but if we go into details, a little worse than race 1. Driver of the day. For race 1, I have to go Milan Ealing. He has worked his way up so many positions. And in the second race, I'm conflicted between Milan again and Lucas Smith, who had a great race as well, finishing P5. As now it's over. The server is finished. I'm gonna now switch off the screen. It's gonna be a black screen, but I'm gonna have a talk now with our interviewees. I don't know yet who they're gonna be. It's gonna be decided by us by our moderators. They're gonna decide who's gonna be choosing to get into the interview. And now that was Radical Cup number 1. Let's see. I'm joining now. If a lot of our drivers are gonna be held. So I'm gonna have a private call with each of our drivers. So I'm gonna decide. So it's gonna be decided now who I'm gonna have to interview with. So that was it for this race. Can turn this off. Let's see where I'm gonna be. It's still not quite decided yet. There's been some issues here. It's getting worked towards. So we're gonna wait now. We're gonna have our interviews soon. I'm still alone here. Still decided who will be joining on me. And as now, not much to talk about. That was a good race from all of our drivers. It's been a quite eventful place. Quite an eventful race. A lot of battles, a lot of overtakes, a lot of crashes, and even DNS. It's been impressive. Still waiting for our interviewees, but not long until I can talk to them. This was a race I was looking forward, and I was not disappointed about what happened. This was everything I was hoping for in such a big grid. Just an information, usually it's even more people racing just because of the final Euros. Just in the final Euros, because of Euro finals. Just because of Euro finals, not everyone could join. And now I'm in the room. So now we have we're gonna have the interviews dragged in. Uh, so let's try. Let me try this now. Let's see if I can. This should work. There we go. Yeah, let me get this a little. So now let me try this, and I've been dragged back into event voice. So let me try this again. Here we have all of our drivers. I try to get only them on the screen. There we go. It's a bit of an issue here.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna have a shower real quick, bro. My balls are like a jacuzzi.
Your stream, the stream hurt you. Fair enough. That's interesting. Interesting to hear. There we go. Right, the stream is fixed. So, who's gonna be the first one to talk? We don't know. Whoops. Who's gonna be the first one to talk? Pop this out. So I'm gonna have you guys, and I can go back here.
Me.
Who
I'm
is
available
you?
for the interview. Me, Thomas Piccolo, the one who won race 2.
The one who won race 2, Piccolo.
Yes.
All right. So let me fix the stream real quick. There we go. Great race from you. First race. Where did you finish? You finished around P10, around there.
Yeah, sadly we had an issue with the standing grid, the starting grid, so it apparently was a reverse grid from qualifying, even though it was not supposed to be that. So even though I qualified P2 with Ferris being P1, we were both at the back of the grid and we really couldn't do much there. So I think I got a P16 actually. So it was still a decent finish, but of course it was not the finish I was expecting when I qualified P2.
Talk about expecting. You in qualifying, you qualified yourself up in P2, I believe that was P2 or P3, between the two teammates up ahead, Aachen and his teammate. The name was very confusing. I can't remember it, but you were up there in the P3 battle. You were 2 tenths slower. We were expecting to get podiums or even wins, and with the second race, you got to win. What was in the first race the biggest issue you had fighting through the grid?
Well, mainly the first issue I had was somebody, I'm not gonna say who, rear-ended me on the very first lap while I was holding the brakes to avoid a collision. So I got a ton of damage from that. I basically could not do flat corners flat anymore. So aside from that, maybe another issue where some people just, especially lap cars, a couple of lap cars, seemingly forgetting to not defend the overtaking cars, but that might be a bug since I didn't actually see the blue flagged icon next to them, although they were like 30 places behind me. So that might be the reason. But aside from that, it wasn't anything too difficult. It was just an issue of trying to keep a steady pace and gain back those 40 seconds I lost to the top spot.
With these cars, I've seen a lot of drivers having issues with the rear end. Was it because of tire heat issues, or was it more of the damage that has been involved with each incident? Can you go me into detail with what the rear end issue was with the cars?
We can set up the aerodynamics of the cars, especially the rear. And to be fast, to be the fastest you can be, you need to set everything to the minimum, like 0, 0 on the setup screen. And that can make the car pretty unstable, although it's not too difficult to handle. For the race, basically everyone was running a little bit more aero to keep the car stable during the corners. But damage was probably the cause to everyone's rear end sliding, because for me, I had no damage, or I had like medium damage, so it was not too pronounced. But without having damage, even just having a couple of clicks on the back arrow, so a couple of degrees of angle, the rear was pretty planted, unless you were way too aggressive with the gearing. But probably damage was the problem, since we do run on full damage.
Right, thank you. So I have no more questions. Congratulations for the win in the second race. Sad
Thank
to
you.
see that with the starting grid ish complications that you couldn't start where you qualified. Hopefully for the next race it's fixed. I wish you the best of luck for the next one, and let's go to a next interviewee. Who's that gonna be?
Me.
Lucas Smith.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Congratulations, Lucas Smith, for your positions. I believe you got points in both races. In the first one, I seen you had a bit more issues with collisions. In the second one,
Yeah.
I saw you finished P6. That was a great race from you.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about the first race. You also had issues with the starting position, right? You started more in the back than you expected.
Yeah, that's true. I qualified P11 and I got put back around P18 or P17, something like that. I mean, lots of carnage, but there's nothing you can do about it. So you gotta stay locked in. And I had a pretty phenomenal start actually in the first race. I got myself up into P4 at some point. And then I got myself into a little bit of trouble. The tire was kicking in. I was getting a bit more distracted. So I lost, I think, 3 positions. I was down into P7. And my teammate behind me is coming in a rapid pace. And I'm like, and he's around the outside. So I was like, okay, sure, I'm gonna let this guy. I'm gonna let him through, follow him to get more pace. And so I end up on a little bit of an odd line, and I misjudge the car's grips levels, and I spun there. So very unfortunate for that to happen. So, but I got myself back into P9 for the first race, so it's good points. I mean, it's just enough points to be leading the championship as a team right now by 2 points. So
Great. I haven't seen that information yet. That's great. That's awesome. Also, with tire wear, you just said, what was the biggest? When was tire wear starting to become an issue? Was it like immediately with the first slide, or did it become apparent more 10 minutes in?
I think it depends on how you handle your tires. In the first race, I was, driving at my potential best, and I could notice about when 10 minutes remaining that the car was getting more slidier and slidier, and I couldn't really trust the grip anymore. But the second race, I only started getting some sliding troubles in the final lap, actually, in my battle with P5, I think. So it really depends how you handle your tires, but if you drive normally, it can be an issue with a whole 10 minutes left in the race, which is, basically half of the race. So that's a big thing.
I've seen with the safety car start that a lot of drivers had issues. Did you in particular also had issues following the safety car?
Yeah, well, me not particularly. I was a victim of someone who wasn't paying attention. I think you actually caught it in the first race start. I was absolutely, well, let me find out. I was absolutely sent into the shadow realms by someone else. But if keep your eyes out, keep a steady pace, it should be all right. I mean, most drivers are very respectful during the safety car. Keep their lines and stay back. So it really depends on who's around you.
All right, so that was all from my side. Congratulations for the double points and leading now in the team championship. Hope to see some good racing from you in the next race, and have a nice break as it's very late Sunday night. So take a good rest. So who's gonna be next? Who wants to be up next?
Yeah, it's me, I guess.
No, okay, you can go, Lorenzo.
Right, rock, paper, scissors.
Thank you.
Right, so Lorenzo Cantone. I first of all, apologies for butchering your name at first for saying Cantone and not Cantone. I've corrected myself later on. And also, I believe in the first race you had issues outside of the points, but in the second one you finished in the points. Am I correct?
I actually got in the points in both races. It's just that in the qualifying I got P9 in the first race, and the first qualifying, sorry. And the grid just got random, and I just started all the way to the back with Thomas and I think the fastest guy, who was it? Ferris, yeah. I think. Yeah. And we started the very dead last position, but I managed to get through very easily. Actually, I mean, I think I got P13 in first race, and actually in the race 2 as well. So pretty solid result considering that I've not been racing around here for like a good amount of time. I mean, I just came back in for like 6 months. I've been off this server, like this activity on here. So I just got overwhelmed by all the news, so the safety cars and all of that. But considering that the random positions for the grid, I mean, I got 2 pretty good race results, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Were you struggling with the setup, as we've heard from race 2 winner Piccolo that it was supposed to be lowest aero and in the race a bit higher? Were you running that same aero, or were you running a different?
Yeah,
type?
actually, we got to talk about it sometime, and I got some trouble in the braking zones. Actually, when testing, I actually didn't understand the braking at all during all the week testing, but I just managed to get the tires and the grip on the front more. I just changing the brake bias a little bit, so I just suddenly get into pace, and I managed to get some decent lap times. And actually, the aero, actually, I didn't have any problems at all. And yeah, so no problems with the setup. Maybe it's just for the tires that in the last laps of race 2 they began to just go a little bad,
Yeah,
so they got a little
used
bad
to
in
the tire
the
wear.
and then in the last laps of race 2. But other than that, it's I think it's a pretty solid result considering that I've been off for a lot of time.
Oh yeah, incredible. I mean, congratulations to all of our drivers today. Even if there's been some issues and crashes, I didn't see any crashes that were on purpose. But congratulations to all of our drivers. Obviously, congratulations to you to get both points. Good luck for the next race, and also you have a good evening as for the later
Thank you.
ones in the interview. I'm sorry if it's
Thank
getting
you. You too.
dragged. No worries. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So, was our 13-year-old in the session
Me.
here? The youngest
Yeah,
driver
me.
we have on the grid. Before I start you, information about you, if it's okay. I can say if it's okay to say.
I mean, what should I say? Where I'm from?
No, just like I'm just gonna say you're the youngest driver here in the session.
Oh yeah,
you got-
youngest driver to ever participate in the TSRB championship.
Also your name would be good to know for the.
Oh, Matteo.
I've only seen you more at the bottom part of the grid. Part.
Yeah.
Have you been struggling, or was there more incidents that made you finish in those positions?
I mean, at the first race, I tried an overtaking in one of the last corners at the first lap. But I ended up braking while turning, which is definitely suboptimal because I ended up losing a ton of position and I started last. And I ended up basically starting last because it was the first lap. But during the races, I was getting some pace towards the end. And the setup was great. It's just me that I'm not that good at driving the car.
I mean,
But
13,
still. What?
Being 13, that's impressive still with the pace that you had.
I mean, could have been better, definitely. Could have been better. I could have done other things. I could have taken different decisions. I did have some problems in the formation lap though, because fortunately I don't remember the name of the guy, but he was just brake checking me during the formation lap randomly. I don't know why. Which, I mean, I guess maybe because the cars were really close to each other, but I'm not sure. I did see him braking on the straight when there was either no danger or it wasn't even near any cars.
Right.
Still, pretty big doubts.
Were you suffering with damage during both races?
Well, at the start of the second race, I was having damage from the from the formation lap because it was it was a bit unorganized, but it's normal considering the histories. I mean, this formation lap wasn't even that bad compared to other races. Like it could have ended a lot worse.
Understandable. So, final question for you was: were you struggling with tire wear? As you said, your setup was fine, but were you struggling with tire wear like the rest, or were you having better tire wear?
I mean, I was having better tire wear because I wasn't really pushing that much compared to other people. I just do it basically for fun, but I do get competitive sometimes because it's satisfying to race with people, battle, only if it's done right and if the people don't crash into you on purpose.
All right. So, congratulations for those races, even if it wasn't the best positions. Oh, congratulations to you for keeping it together.
Thank you.
Obviously, there's been some DNFs. Have a good evening for you as well, and good luck for the next one. Who are we having next?
I'll go
Available.
next. Oh, I'll let
Rock,
the
paper,
winner
scissors?
go.
I appreciate you, man.
Oh.
Oh, hello. Hi. Do I introduce myself?
Would be nice, yeah.
Okay, so P1 first race, all right. I'm built like that. My name is Akram Shushan, right? We're out here making North Africa proud, baby. Let's go.
North Africa, we.
Hell yeah.
Don't know
No,
many
we out
drivers from
here.
there. That's interesting. Right.
Only special drivers come out of there, and I'm one of those. I'm built like that. I'm just keeping it real, you know.
I mean, you showed us in the first race with that
Yeah, thank you.
incredible battle.
Appreciate
I gotta say,
Do you mind if I say shout out really quickly? I want to say shout out to my teammate Wolflicious. Even though he's extremely drunk and he's an alcoholic, he drinks raki every day. He did well, you know. So thank you for keeping up, Wolflicious. Thank you.
shout out.
Aside from that, yeah, I'm good to go. Sorry about that.
I must say, thank you for giving us a great battle at the beginning of the first race. There was a battle, a freeway battle for first at the start of the race. It was incredible switches there. I'm gonna say, and I always think you were in the middle of that group. How did it feel fighting for the lead in the beginning of the first race?
Honestly, I don't know what to tell you. You know, ever since the start, I knew I got it covered. I knew I had that dog in me. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I kept it clean. I kept my lines good. We were out there hitting them apexes, getting good exits, speed hella high. Hopefully you don't mind me saying hella, but we were fast, all right. And I just did easy work of them. I wasn't even trying. I ain't gonna lie.
Wow, confidence being shown
I'm
here
getting
by a
bullied.
race
Why
one
am I
winner.
Why am I getting bullied by Thomas?
I mean, the confidence you're
Right, my
showing,
bad, my
the
bad.
naiveness you're showing.
Jealousy is eating me.
Thomas, he had that race as well, but the race you had, first race, you said, now you say you were very confident. During the race, were you suffering with something, with tire wear or setup wise?
Honestly, my lack of experience showed. I had a lot of close spins. I basically was doing karate moves on my wheel to keep my car going straight, but I managed. It wasn't too bad.
Right, so struggling
my
was
wheels
there,
were-
but you managed to keep it
Indeed,
together, and obviously, being fast is only half the battle. The other one is consistency, and you showed in the first one, and
Thank you.
obviously deserved the win. I mean, the battle you gave us, it showed that you had confidence and pace in that car. So, in the second race, you were battling more up in the top 10, but then a crash happened that pulled you down. What
Indeed.
happened?
All right, so basically I started dead last, I believe. I took it slow. I knew that there was bound to be some accidents, so I took it slow, started passing slowly, until I got to like P10, I think, and then I was racing one of the Red Bull cars, and then I got smashed from behind, yeah, by I think Adam, I believe, but it happens. I didn't end up losing a lot of positions. I managed to gain them back, but I did get a bit of damage. It wasn't that big of a deal though.
Nice.
Yeah. If
So
you were to ask me if I were to jump to conclusions, I'd say Adam was jealous of my skills, but that's me just jumping to conclusions. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, obviously. With that,
Thank you for agreeing
incidents
with me.
are prone to happen in big grids like this. The competition being as close as it was, or mistakes are prone to happen. But obviously, you managed to keep it at least together. Where exactly did you finish in the second race? Since much
I
happened?
believe P10 or P11. I'm pretty sure P10, I think.
You still have one of the best results of the entire weekend with P1 and P10. So congratulations to you. Congratulations for the win in the first race and also for the point in the second one.
Thanks so
Have a
much.
nice evening and good luck
Thanks,
for
you
the next
too.
one.
You have a lovely one. Thank you for the commentary, and thanks for the stewards for their quick action.
Oh yeah, the suits were also very nice. They were fast. So we had two more people wanting to interview, and it's rock,
Yep.
paper, scissors for you guys.
Could I go next, or does Racer Alley want to go ahead?
No, yeah, you could go if you want.
All right, sure.
Introduction.
My name is Konstantin Miletic. I'm from Serbia. I'm 23. We are with the Los Polos Hermanos group. My teammate is Akram Chuchen. The first race was a disaster for me. I started off that with damage, and then I ended up being taken out mid-race, and I couldn't continue. So yeah, I pretty much had to wait out the entire race. The second race was a bit better. I also started with damage. It was going fine until I met a backmarker, and me and Luca had a good fight. It was a bit scary on low durability tires, but I ended up with position 6, so it went well.
So, questions for the first race. The damage that you got, was it terminal, or did you retire because we just couldn't? Because
I couldn't drive anymore. The suspension was damaged. I couldn't steer anymore.
You managed to bring it back to the pit, and I think I saw. But...
yes, I managed to bring it back to the pit, but by then it was too late.
Oh, so. And in the second race, with a little incident, you dropped out. You went up to the top drivers, but with a little bit of incident, you dropped down to 6th, which is still very good. I'm asking everyone the same question with tire wear. With you, were tire wear an issue? And if yes, when, around when?
Like, I believe during the last 10 minutes, I'd say. Maybe less, 5 minutes. It's when I've noticed my tire wear was like below half. Some of the tires were red, some were yellow. That the car was I definitely had to catch the car multiple times.
Was it difficult to catch a car? I saw some drivers having some more luck counter steering, and some drivers just losing it completely. Where was your?
I've lost it only once. That's where I separated from Luca, and there was one mid turn, I believe the S looking turn, where I almost killed Luca. I've held the car there too.
Yeah, right. So it was not much difficult for you to catch the car, but issues still arouse. So
yes, definitely.
As P6, still very good, and seeing as some drivers finished outside the points because of some backmarkers issues and crashes altogether. Obviously, consistency in races like these is the biggest point of racing. Usually in smaller groups, it's pace. But when you're racing against 50 other cars, consistency is what makes you... Consistency is key, as people say. And you've shown us that exactly that's needed to get a good position in the second race. Congratulations for that. Have a good evening and good luck for the next race.
You too. Cheers.
So, next driver.
Yes.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Name is also just...
Yeah. So, I am Hassan Ali, and I got 22nd and 17th in the first race. I had some unfortunate incidents before the race even started. I got moved back 10 places from my qualifying position, starting in 38th, and then at the start I got spun. I remember you covering that on the stream, and it was really unfortunate for me. But we brought it back to 22nd, so I'm not complaining. I was struggling with lag, so I feel bad for all the racers that I affected with that. But in the second race, I actually started in second, and sadly, I couldn't keep up with everyone. But we up until the final lap where the lag got to me and a ghost car hit me. I was running in seventh, so I think it was pretty good.
Yeah. With the setup, have you been running a more perfect setup, or have you been running more of a normal setup?
Yeah, so me and my teammate actually, we were practicing together. He's on controller, so it's much harder for him. But we actually didn't get a chance to even touch the setup, so we were running the default setup, which was definitely hurting us because you could tell that the car definitely needed a setup. We just didn't know how to do it.
So you've been running the normal wings, not the wings that
Yep.
has been recommended by our race winner, second
Yeah.
race winner. Tire wear, that meaning with that class, with that standard setup, tire wear must have been also a bigger issue as more aerodynamic, has more stress on the tires. Have you been suffering tire wear earlier than the rest of the grid?
Yeah, so definitely the tires were losing grip towards the end of the race, and I was not expecting it because towards I think the second to last lap, I had a big moment, so to speak, where I was in front of a couple people and lost the rear and barely caught it. But it's definitely a lot worse on this car compared to others, especially just because of how sensitive the throttle is. So for me, it was a big issue towards the end of the race.
Right, so sadly no points for you in both races, but obviously there was issues
Oh,
with.
actually, no, we did get points. Our team is 11th, McFunny Racing. You can check it out in the standings.
Wait, the points go from 1 to 15 if I'm not wrong. Or am I mistaken?
I mean, I'm looking at the standings. We have 100 something points.
Then I've forgotten how the point system goes. Well, gonna have to recheck that one. But points finish in the end was still good, but with with those positions, it's not. So the points are from 1 to 6. I've mixed them up. So points for you. So basically, everyone has points, but obviously 22nd and what was it, 16th? Not the greatest position, but sadly, with incidents and problems with other back markers. I've also heard your teammate with controller. Consistency is really difficult to keep up when the other drivers also having their own battles on track and as people say, fighting their own demons even inside the car. So it's still good to see that a DNF, those positions are still available. We heard there's been even a DNF. One of the drivers had DNF in the interviews. So congratulations for finishing both races. Have a great evening and good luck for the next race.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Who's next? Who's up next? Who wants to go up?
Why not me?
No. Anyone else? Nah. Right.
I can go if you don't mind.
Oh, no, go on.
Right, I am Alex Schizo from No Head Gasket. My teammate Felipe is not present here today, unfortunately. He's on vacation. So yeah, I'm the only one representing the team. First race was okay. I mean, I got spun a couple of times, but it was very enjoyable. P25. Got a little bit of revenge on Victor, or Mojito, I think it is. And race 2 was definitely more exciting. I got into top 20 until I got spun twice by some people. I forgot what their names were, but it was still fun. I think just because of my setup, I was not very confident. Just kept spinning, losing grip. But yeah, that's kind of it.
What positions did you finish in both races?
P25 race 1 and P24 race 2, I think.
And some consistency still is there, which is good to see. Obviously, as you said, there's been some issues with the drivers. What's the biggest struggles when you try to get past the driver? Is it just the overtake, or when you don't know what the driver head does?
I think just anticipating what the person ahead of you will do. Is kind of like one of my weaknesses because I'm not used to this track, especially because of some of the flat out corners there are, and sometimes people that you go flat out on the corner, they decide to just slam the brakes, and then you have to like recover from that.
Right. So you obviously a bit of consistency is the problem when drivers ahead are having issues. Even lapped cars, even if you're not fighting them. We heard people having issues when lapping happens. It's obviously frowned upon when lapped cars don't check the mirrors, but once they spin, it's not much to see. I've seen one spin during the race, which was in the middle of the track. I was surprised that everyone managed to avoid that. Congratulations to everyone who had the fast reflexes. But bigger struggles, I must say, was for you the struggling to overtake cars bigger than the tire struggles, or can you tell us something there?
My biggest struggle was just, I think, grip. So yeah, my tires, even though they were still a very, I guess, what is the word? Healthy, I guess, very young tire life. By the end of the race, I think it's just I couldn't, I guess, work them in and use them correctly. It's been also my wing setup. I experimented with it for about basically the whole week. Still very, I guess, skittish. I guess the rear of the car keeps sliding out, but that will be fixed soon.
Yeah, it's obviously setup is probably the hardest part of racing if you want to be competitive. Testing is the best thing you can do, but sometimes you just cannot nail the head of the nail with your hammer, and it just happens that mistakes happen. Or 24th and 25, still good positions, knowing that about 40 drivers drove. So congratulations for that. Have a good evening, and good luck for next race.
Thank you.
I think I said no to Naeem, so if you want to go up now.
Oh yeah.
I didn't mean it. Last time was I didn't bring it across correctly. I just made a joke. So introduction if you want.
So I'm Naeem Mayer. I'm 13 years old as well. I'm the teammate of Teodoro, like Matteo, who's also 13 years old. And I'm from Switzerland. Yeah, and I'm racing for the Aramco Oil Academy.
What positions did you finish in both races?
In the first race, I think it was 21st, and in the second it was 18th, I believe, but I'm not quite sure.
Have you in the first race? Have you had issues with cars, or was it consistency that with your just the raw pace that you had to get yourself in 21st? I've seen your name sometimes. We were in some battles. I believe in one point you were even up in a top 15 battle until there's been some crashes there. But what was the biggest struggle in the first race?
Well, I think the biggest struggle was just keeping up with the pace. Like, I haven't trained as much as I would do, because, yeah, just some stress in real life and stuff. So I didn't really have time to practice a lot. I think it's really just the pace, and then I've got punted for a bit, and then, yeah. But actually, in the last few laps, I had a great fight with Edula. Shout out, great fight. And I really had to defend my ass off, like, it was intense.
And in the second race, I believe same issues with consistency.
Yeah, I've got punted as well. And yeah, also consistency.
All right, so yeah, now it's getting more. Now it's getting shown that with a grid like this, issues with just punting, with crashing is the biggest issue. Even if you have the pace, that's the biggest issue of the race. Thank you so much for interviewing here. Congratulations for your positions. Have a good evening and good luck for the next race.
Thank you.
Who wants to go up next? Part is free.
Sure. Oh,
Yeah. Introduction.
yep. All right. I'm Nico Martin. I got third and 11th, first and second race respectively. That was my first race on TSRB. Did not at all. Well, I failed the quarter. I messed up completely the qualifying on the first race. Luckily, it was reverse. I did not at all expect to even complete that race. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm happy I got third on that. That was a really good race up, a little battle up front. Didn't win that little battle, of course, but
It was a good battle, I must say. It was very fun to watch.
yeah, thanks.
There has been
But
some crashes up there, but I'm gonna ask you this question: what was the biggest trouble this race, these two races? Starting with the first one, P3 is still good, but what was the biggest struggle that race?
it was just, I think it was definitely on the first race, the mental thing. 'Cause it's the first race, I'm absolutely scared for my life, you know. But so it was more just trying to keep the pace, trying to keep everything going on the first race, definitely. I'm thankful I even got third. Just keeping it on the track. That was my main goal. So that was definitely a bigger struggle in the first race. Second race was more getting round everyone because I was comfortable at this point and I was in the mid pack, so it was more trying to avoid everything that was going on. You know, and I think I did pretty well. Again, not trying to like brag or anything, but I think I did alright.
Well, I mean,
Not too badly.
P3, P11, very respectful each, saying that in the first race you just need to get a grip of just how the race goes. To be honest, P3 still very impressive, even if it's a first ever race. P11, the second one, I've seen the second one, it was, a bit more incidents happened with just cars going more aggressive, thinking they've got more confidence and going more for moves that you wouldn't really think to go for. And that shows that some drivers who had the pace to get a good position had sometimes fell down. Thank you. Congratulations for both for the positions. So really great race. Thanks for the great battle in the first race. Have a great evening and good luck for the next race. And before I go on, information for everyone watching who's not watching the Euros. Spain won. Sorry for spoilers. Spain is champion. So congratulations also to them. Now we can move on. Who wants to go next? If no one wants to go next, we can.
I'll go.
Oh yeah, okay. Introduction.
I'm Stickerton.
Nice name. Is it
a legal name?
I have a question. Is it actually or is it? I mean,
yeah, that's what's on my birth certificate. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, right. Positions.
The first race, not the greatest. 34th. Had some technical difficulties.
I'm sorry, I didn't get.
Second race, 21st.
21st.
I'm pretty alright with that.
21st and 34th. Okay, yeah. It was
Our
issues in the
strategy.
second race. You just started to say that. What was the issues in the second race?
Well, at the start of the 10th lap, I started lagging out a lot. My PC froze for like 10 seconds. I got back on track, tried to gain the positions I'd lost from that back, and then halfway through Cobb's Corner, my PC just froze up and shut down. Luckily, I was able to join back before the start of the second race. Not the best, but it could have been worse.
I mean, getting 22nd with issues like that, still impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second race, the issue was it more because of the backdrop markers and just the drivers being more aggressive to each other? Or...
Yeah, I'm definitely not the fastest driver, but I'm confident in my abilities and I'm confident in the car. I put a lot of racing experience in before the start of this series with the car that we're driving this time around. But yeah, definitely having to fight through slower drivers is really tough. It does definitely cut into your time.
Yeah, understandable. The track is not really meant to have 50 plus cars around it. And it's still impressive to see, even when there were like more than six cars battling together, that usually it didn't end up with a massive pileup. And I'm honestly surprised and also really happy to see that the battles that's been happening were really close. I believe you were also one at one point. A great battle shown by everyone. So congratulations for those positions, even if the second one was not as great as expected, but it's always improvement can happen, and I hope for next race we can see you again having good battles.
Yeah,
congratulations
me too.
for those positions. Have a nice evening and good luck for the next race.
Thank you.
We are getting through the list here. Anyone else? I think we've gone through everyone, if I'm not wrong.
I guess me.
Oh, okay. Introduction.
I'm Edula Jugo. I'm number 34 from Romania. And I started first in both races.
What positions did you finish in the races?
22 and 30.
All right, so still pretty in the middle there. So 20 in the first and 30 in the second. What was the bigger issue in the second one than in the first one?
My brain turned off and I crashed in like 5 people. My suspension broke and I went to the pits and fixed it. And then I was last.
Have you been setup wise? Have you been running the optimal setup that's been set, or have you been running the standard one?
I was scared to touch the setup, so I left it at default.
And that meant that just pace wise a little bit slow, but also with the tire wear it also was a bit more extreme than. Were you struggling with that near the end of the race?
Not really. I'm just slow, no matter the setup, so not really a big issue.
Don't beat yourself down. 20th and 30th are still very good, so maybe next race we might even see some improvement. Practice is key. The server's open all week and even before, so maybe for next race a little bit more practice and you'll see that you'll get there. So congratulations for those for 20 and 30th. Have a nice evening and good luck for the next race.
Thank you.
Believe as I'm seeing here, I think I went through all of you, unless did I go through all of you? So I think we now got the safety cars left to interview. They really wanted to be part of this. So let's give them the spotlight as well. So which one of you want to start?
I can go. I am Radspeed, aka Safety the Man, or Safety Man 1. From a perspective, the technical difficulties of the first race will be dealt with and will be under review. Other than that, the first race seemed like there was just a lot of amateur hour going on out there, so I was much happier to see that the second race was a bit cleaner, side-by-side racing. Definitely going to be consulting TSRB with the setup as well, making sure that if needed, we can either open it up or lock it down a bit more to ensure that just the overall crashing, a lot of people were spinning into fast corners, just overall stability of the car, see if we can't improve that and give it a better package for future races. But for a first race, it's by no means the worst we've ever had. So, Paul, you have anything to add?
Directly with the setup now to the race itself, yeah. We haven't had a race this eventful since Bridgehampton in Formula Mazda's approximately 2 seasons ago. One of the most eventful races, which also was interesting in itself for the stream, but hard on us. There were a lot of incidents. We caught most of them. The actual problems that we had, as Rad said, the technical difficulties in both races with the reversed grids, which shouldn't have happened. But as far as I'm concerned, that's on TSRB's part. And yeah, that's about it.
So perspective-wise, it was a great race for you, the organizers, but I say organizers, but for the stewards. Problem obviously was, I believe it was not reverse. I think it was random grid turned on. We'll see maybe as a fix for that next race. But race-wise, I must say, even with so many cars, as many crashes happened, that wasn't really the dirtiest I would have expected to be. People were actually watching the most and everything. There wasn't been any on-purpose collisions as I've seen. So I must say, with so many cars on track, that was spectacular racing all round. So I gotta thank you guys for having an eye out for the crashes, for the penalties, and I hope, unless you guys have anything to add, I'm gonna say thank you guys so much for watching, for all the drivers competing. I hope next race you guys are gonna have a better race. For everyone who had a little less luck with their traffic. It's very late on a Sunday, so for everyone still watching who needs to wake up early tomorrow, I apologize for that. Sorry for that. So have a good night, everyone, and we'll see each other in the next race. If you guys want to say already which one it is and when, if it's already.
We are not at liberty to give out that information, but the race will be announced by tomorrow.
So tomorrow will be the information. Tomorrow comes the information out for when the next race is. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks every driver for driving, and thanks for the safety car for the stewards to stewarding the race. Have a good night, everyone, and see you in the next one. You guys want to say anything else?